Number 49?
49 in line for a Phoenix?
That would be me this year. Chris Ferry, General Manager here at Limited Out Performance Marine. We're going to go over my 2021 demo that we were so busy that it didn't get built till last 3 weeks ago. It's been a long process, but it's going to be something that nobody's seen. It's a boat color that nobody has. It's going to be
The ultimate tournament boat.
yeah. It's tournament ready.
So this one's special because this has no hours.
This one's special because it has 0 hours.
Oh,
So
yeah.
someone's going to get a fresh boat. Nobody's walked on the carpet yet.
Except for me when you made me vacuum it.
Yeah, a little bit. But so this was a new color for 2021. I was the first one to get this boat color. It's actually called Carbon. It's real dark. It's a gel coat. We did it with white pins just to give it a little flair, make it pop, but still keep it pretty sleek and dark and simple. One reason I run gel coat boats that a lot of people don't know is repair wise. For me, if I scratch it or whatever, repairs are super cheap. One other thing that a lot of people don't know is gel coat boats are about 150 pounds lighter than a polyflake boat. A little more speed. B, a little bit, I can get into shallower water because my boat doesn't weigh as much. So, of course, Minn Kota Ultrex, it's probably been my favorite trolling motor so far. They probably pretty much to me worked all the bugs out of it. It's been pretty good. We did rig it with a Garmin live scope. It is pre-rig, which right here, it is pre-rigged for a 360. So it's all ready to go. Just 360s are hard to come by right now, but we had the extra cabling, so it is ready to go once we get a 360 into stock.
That's smart, so you don't have to tear the front apart.
I did an MDI on this one, Mega Down Imaging. So I did Mega Down Imaging, transducer built in. I don't like a lot of cables hanging off the bottom. I try to keep it as clean as possible. If something does go wrong, we can always go external over the top in case of emergency. BBT, dual stack mount, so Garmin 1222. The reason I do a 1222 versus a 126, non-touch screen, saves a little bit of money. It's going to save a guy about $800, which is a huge thing, especially because I'm only using it for live scope. If I was using it for mapping or something else like that, I would probably go with a 126. But being a perspective mode only, save yourself some cash and go with a 1222. 1022 is nice too. We do a ton of them. We probably do, 50, 60 a year. If you guys haven't looked into forward imaging, you guys probably might want to look into that. I seal all of my trolling motors at the top. So I put 5200 all the way around the top and I seal them off. That's, to me, is the biggest place where water can get into the motor. They used to be threaded in, now they're epoxied in. I don't feel that the epoxy always gets into all the gaps. Everyone that we've epoxied, we haven't had come back.
That's ninja rigging right there.
It's a little secret.
Secrets?
Yep.
I like the secrets.
Back to the BBT mount. I did do a leveler bracket. If you can look at how level the graphs are, they're nice and flat. They're not in the way. You can see over them. I also do Shawnee mounts, which is an upgraded mount for the Humminbird. They do not make one for the Garmin for the 1222. They do make it for a 126, but they don't make it for a 1222. Padded front deck on this boat.
There was a change in the carpet.
Change in carpet. So we went to a heavier carpet. Phoenix changed to a heavier carpet because there was a lot of demand in it from a lot of guys out there. Rangers run a heavier carpet, Bass Cats run a heavier carpet. So they made the change. Some of the doors are pretty tight now, but in time they'll work fine. You'll just struggle with them for the first couple months.
You can pull your shoulder out.
Yeah, correct. Down to the console. So, same thing, 2 Solix 12s. I feel like the Solix right now, as far as Humminbird, probably have the best mapping in the business. As long as, in my opinion too, most guys know I've been a Lowrance guy forever. I love Lowrance. They've always been a good product for me in the past. but I was giving Humminbird a shot this year. Just because of the mapping and side imaging. They probably have the clearest side imaging and probably the best mapping out there. Lake Master right now, put a Lake Master chip in it. This boat comes with a Lake Master chip, already included. You don't have to go hunt one down. It will share all the mapping throughout all the graphs with one chip. Versus if you buy a Helix, you got to buy a chip for every one. So that's kind of the downfall of the Helix. Plus touchscreen, a little bit faster.
Super clear. Like
super clear
down imaging.
Yeah, down imaging. I mean, just their imaging is probably by far the clearest in the industry currently. Freebie?
Let me give you guys a freebie. So the biggest complaint I get about, and you can tell me if you agree with this or not, the biggest complaint I get with the Solixes is their side imaging. You can't see fish. So you'll drive around and you'll scratch, I can't see nothing, I can't see anything. And I had to talk to a few elite pros to figure out why that is. And what it is in the mega form of side imaging, the actual megahertz that it's shooting out is too powerful. It actually shoots through the fish's bladder. And when we were fishing Pickwick this year, I had to look for shadows because I couldn't actually see a bright dot where the fish is because the mega is too powerful. Yep. Which is cool if you're looking for structure. That's the most defined structure you can get. But crank that thing down to like 800 and then go look for fish and tell me what you see, because then you'll be able to get the return of the fish and not just the shadow. Mm-hmm. Agreed?
Agreed.
Yep. Yeah, they're cranking out more horsepower in these
correct
units.
And we see that sometimes even on the Mega 360, right? That it's just overpowering, right? And then you have to tune it down.
And that's the cool thing about the Solix. It's really easy to click the button.
Correct.
And turn them, and you can actually dumb down the megahertz.
Yeah, to be able to go through the menus on there. Once you if you haven't been a Humminbird person before, the menus will be a little different for you in the beginning. But once you get to your menus figured out and taken care of, it goes pretty easy. So cockpit wise, Jake's going right to the dash. I go analog gauges. A lot of guys like digitals. I keep it simple. Analog gauges work fine. We did an Atlas trim gauge for the hydraulic jack plate. Seats, real dark seats. A lot of guys complain that, oh man, those are going to be hot, right? Well, we do live in the Northwest. Yeah, it does get hot, but I don't care if you sit in a red seat or a black seat. They're both hot when it's 90 degrees out.
It doesn't matter. Unless you want to get a white seat that'll be like cream colored.
Yeah, and I'll see you across the lake. So. And
you'll look at a poop brown seat in the next week or two.
Right. Sea deck. That was a new option in 2021. We all fish these wet tournaments, rainy tournaments, and everything else gets dry except this is where all the water pools up, and you've got a fan in there and everything like that. With the sea deck now, definitely is going to stay a lot drier. It's going to drain out a lot faster. It does get a little bit dirty. You do have to maintain it a little bit more.
You can see my footprint marks because we scrubbed it.
Yep,
and then I walked on it with
and
my
Jake
socks.
walked on it.
So now my socks are all wet.
But long term, I think it's going to be a better deal than carpet. I think it's just going to take place of carpet long term. Now, on the front decks, I'm not a sea deck person. Back deck would be okay. From everyone I've talked to about sea deck on the front, you might as well have a sheet of plywood up there when it rains and it hits you in the face. So it just comes straight back. But down here, because it doesn't drain fast.
This one doesn't have heated seats.
We didn't do heated seats. So
a lot of people don't know that Phoenix has heated
seats. Has heated seats in some of the new models. So I didn't do heated seats in this boat. They are available. Most of the guys that are doing heated seats are doing them in the elites.
Give me your opinion on, with all these new graphs, we're having battery issues. Like tournament guys are dealing with battery issues.
Yep.
They're running we're running two 12-volt batteries now to run all this technology. How does heated seats
heated seats, the only thing with heated seats is they draw a lot of power. The good part is the way Phoenix integrated them is they'll only run with the motor on. Right, so we're not getting battery draw. I mean, you're just not going to charge your battery as quick because the heated seats are going to take a lot of the power. So
I knew you'd have an answer.
Yep.
Because I'm now a battery voltage scientist.
Well, that's one thing you got to remember, right? All our new graphs, are drawing so much juice. Solixes draw a ton of juice. We all know that. Why? Because they have the brightest backlight in the industry, right? So you always have to start by turning your backlights down to, you know, help conserve. Put them in standby. There's a little bit of processes, right? You can run more and more batteries. You know, a lot of guys are running a 12 volt starting battery just for the motor. Then they're running 125 lithium, right? Either ionic or lithium pro. And then they're running, you know, whatever for trolling motor batteries. Some guys are running a 5-bank charger. Some guys are running a 4-bank charger and a single charger. Some guys are just not worrying about the starting battery, and they're just, you know, worried about the other 4 batteries. But we're, you know, the 125 seem to, you know, the lithium seem to be holding up to most of the guys' deals. If you're not into that, stick with the North Star. Stick with the X2 power. Seem like they have a high reserve capacity. That's what I would suggest.
What about, did you hear that Minn Kota has a 5-bank charger now?
Minn Kota has a new 5-bank charger, not out. We have 5 currently on order. I do know that much. And they are lithium ion compatible. They're set up that way. Got your Minn Kota heading sensor. We got your Humminbird.
So let's nail this down for people.
Okay.
This is not a GPS puck.
This is not a GPS puck. So the only time that really applies, and I would tell you this, do you need it on the boat? No. You can get away with it, just not even using it. Unless you're a guy who uses the remote and you're using a jog, using the jog on the remote. All the other heading is built into the head of the trolling motor.
Right. The GPS on an Ultrex is right here. Let me show you guys. Because everyone's like, man, my GPS sensor needs to be close to my trolling motor. It does not. This right here is your GPS receiver for the Ultrex. So if you hit spot lock and your boat goes back 6 feet or right to the left 6 feet,
has nothing to do with that.
It has nothing to do with where this guy right here is. It has to do with the fact that you need to calibrate your Ultrex. But what is the main goal?
The main goal is to maintain 12 volts at your graph, at the bow, at the console, all the time, because that's when your graph is going to perform the best. If you're at 11.3 volts, you're not getting everything out of your graph. You're going to start losing imaging, you're going to start losing clarity, you're going to start losing all those different things. So we want to maintain no power drop from the battery to the graph. So this is one thing I built. Like I said, I build them, I put them in my boats.
This is built for this boat.
This is built custom for this boat, right?
And you'll do this for anybody's boat.
Yep, they just got to ask. And,
You know, and it's expensive.
And we want to know.
Wire's expensive.
Yeah, wire's expensive, but I want to know, A, what graphs are you running, right? What are we doing? You know, certain boats are harder to run it in if we're running it, right? But, you know, sometimes we don't need 8 gauge. Sometimes we can get away with 10 gauge. Sometimes, you know, 10 gauge is the minimum that I'll go. 8's probably the biggest I'll go. I mean, you probably don't need it. This boat, just to be safe, because I'm running Solixes, 3 of them. 8 gauge is what I would run. And
Solixes are probably by far the biggest power drain of any
correct.
graph out there.
Yeah, they are.
All right, so we've got the best. We got wiring. We didn't put batteries.
No batteries in it. I usually leave that to the customer
because everybody's so picky about it.
Everyone's picky on what they want to run. If I was going to run it, I mean, it'd definitely be run some lithium pros duals on the other side, because we have a power pole charge on that side.
This thing is rigged.
It's got a power pole charge, so you know you can run a single 36 volt lithium pro, or you know a 3165, or you can run 2 3150s. Actually, the 3150s just took place of the 3140s for the same price, so you're getting a little more power out of the 30. 10 more amp hours. And then as far as starting, probably run a North Star, and then I would probably add a 125 lithium, or
what's the lithium 125 lithium for?
125 lithium, I'd run that for my graphs. Right, separate my graphs just to that battery. Once again, clean power. Hydraulic jack plate.
Color matched.
Color matched black. So I was the first one to have that, even though there's a bunch of them out there now, because we rigged this boat so late in time. Power pole blades, 8-footers. Mercury ProXS 250, 24 pitch Ferry. Plug all your vent holes. That's just for takeoff. A lot of guys say, "Oh, it doesn't run as fast with the vent holes plug." It has nothing to do with that. It's only hole shot. couple other things I did on this boat. We did the bigger wheels.
Fancy.
So we did the Mayhem 18-inch wheels. We did color match black jack, color match black F2 winch, full-size spare.
Would you say that this is murdered out? Is that what the kids say?
It's getting close, but it, you know, it has some white on it, so,
Okay. So it's
we're
not
all
murdered
right.
out.
No, not 100%. Like I said, power pole foot switches,
are part of it.
like Master Map.
Do I have to get in the boat to show the cool rigging stuff you did?
He does. So you gotta get in the boat.
Dang it, I have to take my shoes off again.
Definitely perfect.
Dang it. All right.
So there's my rig job. So we have the live scope there.
This is this back here real quick. That's the one of the fuse panels he's talking about that would be between your graph and your battery.
Correct.
Which is a really well thought out fuse panel, but
It's a failure point still.
it's still a failure point.
Right? Screw comes loose, or the power to the power post comes loose. Just little things that can hinder your day. You know, we got the Ethernet box in there
For the Humbird.
for the Humbird. We got Steady Cast in there, which is basically a heading sensor for the live scope for Garmin. And we just try to keep everything out of the way.
Does this Steadicast have to be on every Garmin installation?
It does not, but I suggest it. It just gives you a better direction. A lot
If
of
you're
guys.
using your Garmin for mapping.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Or just not mapping. I mean, even on the perspective, it's just a little more accurate.
Gotcha.
Right. A lot of guys say they don't need it, but if you've ever looked on like some of the 126s where it has the view where it's supposed to be aiming, and it shows you like you're aiming backwards, you're like, I think my thing's backwards. It's not because of that. It's because you don't. Most of the guys don't have a steady cast on them.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay.
Why do I run 921 ProXP? Because of double doors. I love double doors. Yep.
Oh, we should go back. Double doors, never mind.
That's all right.
Because I want to get in on this double door rant.
So double doors, right? Big single doors. You know, we've seen them on boats in the past. Now the Elite has a big single door, right?
Yes.
So does the 919.
Yes. And what we mean by that is
This is one door.
one big door.
No double latch, just one giant door. Problem with this big single door is a couple things. One, you're idling somewhere, your partner opens it up, you can't see.
No.
You can't see to drive, right? That's one. Number two, you're in heavy waves, the big door's up, it starts to rock, right? And I don't like where the hinge is, in my opinion. You know, I haven't seen it on the Phoenix yet, but I've seen it on enough other boats that I know at some point that this hinge is going to go bad from that big single door.
Yeah, I haven't seen it on mine either.
Right. Double door, you know, there's just not enough play in it for it to come loose.
Yeah.
So, but
Number one thing I like, and I've got to throw my 2 cents in this,
yeah.
is I fish team tournaments as well as pro circuit tournaments.
Right.
And so I like 2 full rod lockers.
Yep.
8-foot rods on both sides.
Correct.
The other thing I like is this bin.
Throw all my rain gear in it,
Yeah.
all my clothes.
And you can close the bin I'm sitting on right here and get in and get this stuff that is not as necessary, and it goes way back and under there. So you can put like your throw cushion and your extra life jackets and your toolkit. But the complaint I get is like, well, you can't hold enough tackle in that smaller door. Well, Chris fixed that. So hang on. Tell me you can't. Tell me what you think of that.
If you carry more tackle than that, you probably have a problem.
Your name is Bass Pro Shops.
I believe I did. I didn't pull the rod tubes out yet. I usually do. You can get a lot more rods in there that way. Some guys like to have, you know, if you're fishing a lot by yourself, yeah, you know, pull one side out, you can get all your bait casters in there. A lot of guys like to keep their spinning rods really organized, because that's what we all know, that those are a tangled mess at the end of the day.
Nice.
So we're back to my 2021 demo that I finished rigging. It's up for sale now, 0 hours. It's got all the tournament features that you could think of. I've added them all in, upgraded wiring, upgraded mounts, everything like that. So you can call Russ, call myself, and we can get you a price on this boat and get it to your house.
The best one yet.
This will be a good one.
All right.